The direct orders from Army Command! Where is Colonel Mackenzie? Jesus Christ, man! Go and see the captain!
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 more actor mistakes that were kept in the movie.
The thing is, Bob, it's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most notable goofs that were made by actors and included in the final cut of the film. We're including character-breaking, flubbed lines, accidental injuries, and similar instances. Did you notice these mistakes on your own? Let us know in the comments below.
Hey Mojoholics! For a chance to win cash prizes, play our live daily trivia challenges every day at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern only at WatchMojo.com/play.
Number 20. Gibbs Chinatown. This classic noir follows Jack Nicholson's Jake Gibbs as he investigates a complex water scheme in the 1930s Los Angeles. His journey leads him to Noah Cross, who sits with Jake for a fancy lunch. There are numerous times throughout the conversation that Noah mispronounces Gibbs' name, even after he's politely corrected.
Mr. Gibbs.
Gibbs.
Gibbs. You're dealing with a disturbed woman who just lost her husband. I don't want her taken advantage of. Sit down.
This is a moment of unplanned filmmaking magic. The repeated mispronouncing of Gibbs' name is a great power move that helps establish Noah's dominance and uncaring attitude. In reality, this was a genuine mistake made by actor John Huston. Director Roman Polanski decided to keep it, apparently loving what it did for Noah's character.
What about her?
Just find the girl, Mr. Gibbs.
Number 19. Ducking behind the car. 16 candles.
Why, you little scuzzbag! Wow!
In this John Hughes classic, comedian Billy Bird plays Dorothy Baker, the grandmother of Molly Ringwald's Samantha. Dorothy's involved in a comedic scene that sees people climbing in and out of a car while going to a wedding. Dorothy is the last character to supposedly enter the car, which makes the goof all the more glaring. Rather than entering the car, Billy Bird crouches behind it and kneels in place as it peels away. It's a very glaring and obvious mistake, as Bird's blue costume can easily be seen through the car's windows. We can't blame Bird here, as this was likely a framing mistake made by either the director or cinematographer. Either way, it sure is hilarious.
I paid $7 grand for a wedding, I'll never see it.
Oh, watch your language, Mr. Dirty Mouth.
Number 18. SloMo Fall. Baywatch. This comedy was a film adaptation of the beloved TV show, so you better believe there was some slow motion running.
Is it just me, or is she
in super slow motion?
The final scene shows a bunch of characters running on the beach, including Zac Efron's Matt Brody. Matt goes to bump arms with Mitch when he loses his footing and falls to the sand. Slow motion trips have long been the source of comedic parody, and Baywatch continued the tradition. But according to Efron, this fall was completely unscripted. He told USA Today that he genuinely tripped while shooting the run and was somewhat embarrassed, considering the iconic nature of the scene. Luckily, it worked well for comedic effect and was kept in the film.
Guys, after finding the drugs, helping save Chen, and helping me blow up the bad girl with a Roman candle, it's a pleasure to say you are officially no longer trainees.
Number 17. Phone book to face. The Heat. In one of the movie's funniest scenes, Sarah and Shannon decide to play good cop, bad cop during an interrogation. Shortly after Sarah walks into the room, Shannon bursts in, pushes Sarah out of the way, and hurls a phone book straight at the suspect's face.
Coffee? I drink a little more coffee than I probably should. Where's Larkin? Couldn't wait 10 seconds, 10 seconds!
This was not a camera trick. Actor Michael McDonald was actually drilled in the face. He insisted on using a real phone book and reportedly planned to dodge it, but that clearly didn't work. You can actually see a brief grimace of pain on McDonald's face before the camera cuts to McCarthy. It certainly looks painful, but worry not, he was completely okay.
How long is this gonna take? I don't know, maybe 12 hours, hopefully less. I have to find out what drives him. We could just go in there and beat him with a phone book.
Number 16. Terry Crashes the Scooter. American Graffiti. Directed by George Lucas 4 years before Star Wars, American Graffiti is a coming-of-age comedy that takes place in early 60s California.
Rock and roll's been going downhill ever since Buddy Holly died.
Don't you think the Beach Boys are boss?
You would, you grungy little twerp.
The laughs begin immediately with the dorky and unpopular Terry Fields crashing his scooter in a drive-in parking lot. Terry stops the scooter and starts getting off when he suddenly accelerates and crashes into some garbage. This was a genuine accident by actor Charles Martin Smith, and his hilarious "oh crap" reaction was 100% real. Rather than panicking and calling cut, Lucas kept the cameras rolling and let the accident play itself out.
Excuse me, I think we've had an accident.
Well, God damn it, I won't report you this time, but next time just watch it, will you?
Number 15. Knocked Out. The Princess Bride. One scene in Rob Reiner's classic comedy sees Count Tyrone Rugen knocking out Wesley with a sword.
You have 6 fingers on your right hand. Someone was looking for you.
If this injury looks a little too real, it's because it is. The cast was filming with real swords and Christopher Guest was going easy on Cary Elwes, as he didn't want to hurt him. However, the actors weren't getting satisfactory footage, so Elwes told Guest to hit him hard. Guest did as agreed and smacked Elwes with a good amount of force. The impact knocked him out cold and he required stitches to close the resulting gash in his head. Elwes literally paid for it in blood, but hey, at least they got good footage.
Will you promise not to hurt him?
What was that?
Number 14. Missed light switch. Grease. Behold the secret of the filmmaking process. Right before the legendary beauty school dropout, a newly pink-haired Frenchie speaks to the elderly waitress of the diner. She cleans up after Frenchie's friends and loads up a tray with various goodies.
Wow. Well, I hate to tell you this, but your hair looks like an Easter egg.
With both hands full, she's forced to use her elbow to turn off the lights. Observant viewers will notice that her elbow is a good 2 or 3 inches below the switch, yet the light turns off anyway. It's glaringly obvious that the switch doesn't actually do anything and that a stagehand was responsible for the lights. Either that or that waitress is a witch.
If only I could have a guardian angel to tell me what to do. You know, like Debbie Reynolds had in Tammy. What do you think?
If you find him, give him my phone number.
Number 13. Docked points. Bring it on. Filming sports movies sounds like a difficult and stressful process, as the potential for serious accidents seems very high.
You. And you? I mean, hi, I'm...
A cheerleader.
Yeah. Head cheerleader to be exact.
The climactic scene in this cheerleading comedy sees the East Compton Clovers performing their choreographed routine at the national championship. About 20 seconds into the routine, 2 cheerleaders experience a major failure in communication and choreography. If you look on the left side of the screen, you'll see the 2 cheerleaders collide, with one accidentally running into the path of the other. It's quite easy to miss, but it's one of those things that you'll never be able to unsee.
Do you know what this means? My entire cheerleading career has been a lie. Well, look on the bright side. It's only cheerleading.
Number 12. PC Load Letter. Office Space. A defining comedy of the 90s, Office Space spoke to a generation of employees suffering from the corporate blues.
Wanna go to Chachki's? Get some coffee?
Oh, it's a little early.
I gotta get out of here. I think I'm gonna lose it.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
One particularly famous scene sees Michael Bolton talking to his friends Peter and Samir when an error message appears on the printer. Michael stops mid-sentence and smacks the printer in frustration, sending the tray clattering to the floor. It's a genius scene, and yet none of it was planned. The printer had run out of paper from previous takes, causing it to beep and interrupt actor David Herman. Herman ran with it and spun comedic gold in the process.
Samir, you're missing the point. The point of the exercise is that you're supposed to figure out what you would want to do if... PC Load Letter.
Number 11. Smashing the Mirror. Nightcrawler. This eerie thriller stars Jake Gyllenhaal as Lou Bloom, an opportunistic and manipulative freelance photographer.
Will this be on television?
Morning news. If it bleeds, it leads.
What channel?
Whoever pays the most.
One highly charged scene sees a stressed out Lou looking at himself in the bathroom mirror. He suddenly screams in frustration and slams the cabinet door closed, shattering the attached mirror. This scream and resulting cabinet banging were apparently improvised by Gyllenhaal, as both he and the director were trying different approaches to the scene. Unfortunately, the breaking glass cut deep into Gyllenhaal's hand and the cut required nearly 50 stitches to close. But Gyllenhaal's a trooper. Not only did he keep his cool, but he finished the scene by walking past the camera and out of the bathroom.
I'm just beginning, so praise from someone such as yourself, well, you can imagine that it means quite a lot.
Number 10. The Sweeping Extra. Quantum of Solace. This certainly isn't the greatest Bond film, complete with a messy plot and some glaringly evident goofs.
When I suggest you leave now, you contact your people and you tell them to check their seals. They have a leak. Do it now, please. This man and I have some unfinished business.
It features one of the most iconic on-screen mishaps, and it comes through the form of a sweeping extra. While Bond sits idle on his motorcycle, a man in the background can be seen sweeping the dock. However, the broom is hovering about half a foot off the ground, and we're left wondering how that dock is getting cleaned. This was likely a sound issue, as the noise of the swishing broom would have been picked up by the microphones. This sort of stuff happens all the time in movies. They just don't make it so obvious.
Bond, you killed a man in Brigands.
I did my best not to.
You shot him at point blank and threw him off a roof. I'd hardly call that showing restraint.
Number 9. Joaquin Phoenix breaks a toilet. The Master. Did you know it was possible to break a toilet with your feet? Well, Joaquin Phoenix didn't. His character in The Master, Freddie Quell, is thrown in a jail cell and begins acting violently by smashing himself into the bed and destroying the toilet. For this intensely physical scene, Phoenix studied how wild animals behave in captivity and acted with similar aggression. Part of this animalistic behavior included breaking the toilet with a few hard kicks. He didn't think such a thing could be done, telling the New York Times, "I didn't intend to break the thing. I didn't know that was possible." Well, it is possible, and he found that out firsthand. Luckily, it was in the service of a great scene.
Your fear of capture and imprisonment is an implant from millions of years ago.
Number 8. Billy hits Stu with the phone. Scream. Few horror comedies have towed the line quite as expertly as Scream.
Oh, you want to play psycho killer? Can I be the helpless victim? Okay, let's see. No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
Even in the horrifying climax with bodies piling up and characters drenched in blood, the movie still makes an effort to keep audiences laughing. In fact, one of the film's signature bits of comedy comes in the climax when Billy hits Stu with the landline phone. The phone actually slipped out of Skeet Ulrich's hand, owing to the prop blood, and hit Matthew Lillard in the back of the head. He improvised Stu's iconic reaction, and Wes Craven loved it so much that he kept it in the film.
Now that Billy tried to mutilate her, do you think Sid would go out with me?
Number 7. Jane Russell falls into the pool. Gentlemen prefer blondes. This classic comedy features a number of dazzling musical sequences, including the song Ain't There Anyone Here for Love. It's sung by 50s sex symbol Jane Russell and takes place inside a gymnasium. The choreographed dance ends in a rather unpredictable fashion. Numerous men dive over Russell as she sits by the side of the pool, but the last man clips her back and sends her into the water.
Ain't there anyone, 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 anyone?
It makes for an endearing if somewhat painful-looking finish, and it was completely unplanned. The dancer, a man named Ed Fury, accidentally slammed into Russell during his dive. He then attempted to claim choreography credit for the failed stunt and was fired as a result.
You're one of the Olympic athletes, aren't you?
One of them? Sister, I'm the only four-letter man on the team.
I should think you'd be ashamed to admit it. But no, don't say another word.
Number 6. Anne Hathaway slips, The Princess Diaries. Anne Hathaway made her film debut in this 2001 cult classic, playing Princess of Genovia, Mia Thermopolis. Mia has a friend named Lily, and it's while talking with her that an iconic movie goof occurs. Hathaway is walking up and down some bleachers when she slips off the metal and falls with a hilarious little squeak.
Number 2, you always have to look just right. Number 3,
Hathaway and Heather Matarazzo remain in character. Well, kind of. Hathaway laughs in embarrassment and Matarazzo asks if she's okay. This was a genuine interaction between the two actresses, but it also works for the moment and the characters. It's this type of professionalism that would lead Hathaway to a future Oscar.
I love you! Okay, I'm gonna buy you another charm for your charm bracelet. Okay. See you Saturday night, Joe!
Number 5. Robin Williams slips, The Birdcage. And speaking of funny falls that were kept in the movie, let's talk The Birdcage. This oft-forgotten comedy stars Robin Williams as Armand Goldman, a gay drag club owner who tries to impress the conservative parents of his son's fiancée. During a hectic get-together, Armand slips on the kitchen floor and comically falls out of frame.
It's okay. We're all right.
Williams actually slipped, but being the consummate pro that he was, he kept the scene going through his own giggles. Fortunately, the fall works splendidly as a visual gag, and the brief character break from Williams only adds to the manic hilarity.
What are you standing there for? Go! Go! She'll be here in a minute. Go!
Number 4. Schofield runs into soldiers, 1917.
The attack has been called off. General Aaron Moore has called off the attack. Boltzmann, we're about to go over. We've got them on the run.
If there's one defining image from 1917, it's Will Schofield running across an exploding battleground as soldiers pour from a trench. It's a brilliant cinematic achievement, and it nearly ended in disaster. During the run, actor George Mackay is twice knocked over by extras, but he gets up both times and keeps running. These were genuine accidents, and they resulted in some noticeable errors. The first soldier to hit Schofield lays on the ground and plays dead, and at one point the camera stops and waits for Mackay to catch up. This would have been a nightmare to refilm, so they essentially just ran with it, no pun intended. Luckily, these little errors add to the moment and help aid in the scene's incredible tension.
Let me through! Let me through! I want to get through! I have to see Colonel Mackenzie! I have to stop this attack!
Number 3. Kurt Russell breaks a priceless guitar, The Hateful Eight. If you're working with a genuine antique worth lots of money, it's probably best to inform your actor of that fact. Kurt Russell's John Ruth grabs Daisy's guitar and smashes it against a pillar.
Music time's over.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Turn around.
This was an actual guitar dating from the 1870s that was lent to the production by a museum. The guitar was supposed to be replaced by a smashable prop, but for some reason the real guitar was kept in, resulting in complete destruction. Jennifer Jason Leigh's shocked reaction is real, and she clearly looks off camera toward the crew. There's even an awkward edit when it cuts to the other angle as if filming was stopped to allow everyone to compose themselves.
That's the one you like to sing in the stagecoach, huh?
Yeah.
It's kind of pretty.
Number 2. A young extra covers his ears, North by Northwest. Working with loud noises must be very hard, even for the pros. You know a loud noise is coming and you instinctively want to flinch, but you obviously can't, as that would ruin the take. This conundrum resulted in a classic goof in Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest. Eve shoots Roger with blanks in a crowded restaurant, and a kid in the background can clearly be seen covering his ears in anticipation of the shot. What makes this even worse is that he's in plain view of the camera and plugs his ears long before Eve actually shoots. Hitchcock either didn't notice this, which is hard to believe, or he just didn't care. Sometimes good enough is good enough.
That wasn't very sporting, using real bullets.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Luke Can't See a Thing. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. In one of the movie's most iconic sequences, Luke and Han suit up in stormtrooper outfits to save Princess Leia from captivity on the Death Star. Luke comically mentions that he can't see out of his helmet, and this moment birthed a popular urban legend.
I can't see a thing in this helmet.
The story goes that Mark Hamill said this to Harrison Ford, not knowing that the cameras were rolling. This is a half-truth. Hamill clarified on Twitter that the line was indeed ad-libbed, but that he knew they were shooting at the time. Regardless, George Lucas loved the line, incorporated it into future takes, and eventually put it in the finished film.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.